Hi, I'm Sindhu. I'm a dual degree student in art and information, and I'm a senior. So both Connor and I are artists in residence at the Magnetometer Lab here at the Space Research Center. And this project is very interdisciplinary. We're both from different schools. I'm from art and information, he's from the music school, and we're working in a space research lab. So we're outsiders to this program, and it was interesting learning about the researchers' work and coming at it from like a beginner's perspective. And so this specific project is about the kind of near-Earth processes of the geomagnetic storms. So it's how solar winds interact with geomagnetic fields and how the aurora borealis forms out of that. And that's really what we've depicted here in a more abstracted form. So while we do call this a data visualization, I think it's also just kind of an ambient VR experience too. So it is more abstracted. I was really interested in using the cave because I've always seen this and walked by this since like my freshman year, and I thought this would be a really great opportunity. I think the full room VR experience really provides a full body experience, which you can't get with just a headset, which is more traditional. So I think having an art piece shown this way really is able to immerse the full body in ways that I guess traditional static forms of art can't. So this was interesting because I didn't actually have to use any VR-specific programs in creating this. So I used Rhino and Cinema 4D, which I was both familiar with. So I just really had to take my finished model and take it to Ted, who works here at the cave. And he was able to just use the software that they have for this, which I think is called Jugular, and then place the model in the cave space. So I didn't have to do any like VR development on my own, which was really nice. So I would say it was fairly easy to get it in this space. So I would recommend others to try it as well. I think, so I haven't done a lot of VR development on my own, so I can't really speak to that, but I'm sure there's a lot of online resources and books that help with that.
My name is Connor. I'm a percussionist in the music school, and I'm a senior. The project is a collaboration between me and Sindhu, who did the VR visuals. I did the audio. The audio and the visuals hopefully are connected in terms of their inspiration behind several concepts that make up the formation of a geomagnetic storm. We worked with Mark Moldwin's Magnetometer Research Lab to find some kind of inspiration with the work that they do in space research. It's interesting for me as a musician to work with technologists, both kind of technologists on the science end of things with the people in the actual magnetometer lab and with Sindhu, just to learn about how different creatives think about the process of making their art or finding ideas. I really enjoyed learning how different people think. My goal with making the music was to try to keep the user immersed as much as possible. Different sections of the model have different musical sections as well that correlate to what that part of the model stands for. So I think there's a really important connection between visuals in virtual reality and music in terms of creating an experience that feels real, because in reality we have sound all around us all the time. So I think in a virtual system there needs to be sound that really connects what you're seeing and what you're hearing. This is my first time working with sound in any virtual system. Something I learned was the way the system specifically is set up is the audio comes from a single source within the model. Therefore, you're going to have sounds that overlap with each other. So trying to create sounds where you move from one spot to another and there's kind of a smooth transition between what you're hearing, as if you were walking from one room to another. We were inspired specifically by these like really big geomagnetic storms that can happen. Specifically, there was one on like St. Patrick's Day. We started getting into research on that and looking at the pictures. And I mean, just the pictures of an aurora is really inspiring. I think there's kind of like a human connection element we have to this magnificent scene. I'm kind of a visual learner, so I've always learned really well from images and pictures. And I think giving somebody an experience, specifically through virtual reality, can kind of move their learning beyond just reading something out of a textbook or reading an article on the internet or even just seeing a picture online. I think it can create a very memorable experience. So it's an exciting medium to try to get into to try to expand what the medium can be used for.